try to answer a question here real quick before I get started. And so this is going to be about the Bissell revolution, right? And now the Bissell, here's the thing. There's certain parts, let me make sure I do this right. There's certain parts in the Bissell revolution that the parts are the same. For example, let's say you want to buy a shaft, okay? The pump shaft should have the same number on the Bissell. Actually, let me print it out because I started working on it. I'm starting on a schematics page, right? Right now I only have two, up. But I figured I didn't want to wait to share this with you guys because I noticed that there's a problem on the picture of the schematics versus the listing, okay, for the parts. So when people go online and they're trying to order parts, because the numbers change often, sometimes just because it's a different model, let's say it's, I'll give you an example, Bissell Revolution Pet, and then you have Bissell Revolution Pet Pro, which is a whole new model, whole new line, right? So, but there's still a lot of the parts that are the same, but there are very specific parts that are different. And I remember with the Bissell Revolution and the Bissell Revolution Pet, there was a difference in the belt for the cog belt, the main belt that drives the brush, okay, that goes from the shaft to the brush. So one of the belts were wider. So there was a confusion. Some people would buy belts and they have to send it back because the belts are wrong. So I'm going to try to see if I can clarify some of that. But I think I'm going to do a separate video that I can actually put the pictures up on the side of the screen. But for now, I'll try to use some printouts that I have because this vertical setup I have at my office I don't have right now. I'm not set up to share it like that. So I'll figure it out. Don't worry. So let me print out that list that I started making so I can have it here just in case anyone is having an issue with that, okay? And then I'm going to answer the question, has to do with this, and maybe I can help a gentleman that reached out to me also about a clean shot. Now this is not the Pet Pro Plus, this is just the Bissell Revolution by itself. So give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to hit print. Actually, this is the Bissell, look at it, this is the Bissell Revolution Pet. So I'm going to show you the difference if I can kind of get myself together here. But let me print this real quick. Give me a second, guys. Okay. Where are you? Give me a second, guys. I'm just going to hit print and come right back. All right. Okay. Download. No. Print. It's like, wait, hurry up. Where are you? I'm coming, guys. I'm coming. It just hit me, and I'm like, let me share this real quick, and then now I'm like, man, I should have printed it out already. Let's see if I can print this whole list here like this. Print. And then I'll run back and grab it when it's finished printing. No. All right. You know what? I'll have it for you guys. Let me see something. Save. Let me save it. Desktop. All right. Man, the things that I go through, man, just to get something printed. Sometimes these steps are just so extra. Golly. Okay, where are you? Downloads. Open this up. Open up. Rapido. Okay. And I'm coming. Okay. God. Print this page. And then I gotta leave again. All right. Here we go. Let me answer the first question. Okay. Okay, so, all right, here we go. This is from, Amani Jabber. Okay, hey, what's up? Hey, Brian. Okay, so Amani says, hello, I have an old Bissell and it stopped working, so I bought the Bissell Pro Revolution Pet. Now, I'm assuming it's the Bissell Revolution Pet Pro. I'm gonna make that assumption, okay, for 6 months, and it started to leak. And when I tried using the part to clean the couch, it doesn't work. Can I take the part from my old Bissell and put it on the Pet Pro? If no, where can I buy and fix the leaking? Okay, so I'm assuming then the leaking is coming from, I'm gonna assume then, right? Because the part that cleans the upholsteries is when you start hooking up your hose, right? So you hook up your hose right here. Now you can clean your upholsteries, right? So I'm assuming the leak is coming from this section right here. I'm gonna make this assumption. It's coming from this section right here. Now, yes, you can, but you're gonna have to do some maneuvering if you're gonna use the older pump, because the setup is slightly different when it comes to the tubing that's coming out, but the pump is the same. Okay, so the way they sell it, it's sold. Let me see if I have one here. Okay, it's sold like this. Okay, right? But sometimes you just have to I think one of them have a T shape, if I'm not mistaken. But really, the pump mechanism part is the same thing, and is really just the tubing, and you just have to just maneuver this part. All right. I know I had a situation like that, so I just want to make sure. Now this here pump, 1609212, okay, it's identical to this. My brushes came off. Give me a second. And I hate when these brushes. You know what? I'm glad it did, because it's going to help me. It's going to help me to explain this part. So it all happens for the good, right? All right. Okay. Hey Ryan. It all happens for the good. So let me show you. So like I said, all the pumps are going to be the same. Okay. So that's the shaft right here. Okay. Separate from the pump. All right. They don't come together. And I'm actually going to put a kit together that will have your shaft, is going to have your pump, is going to have both belts. It's 3 belts really. Your flat pump belt and the cog belts. Now the cog belts are the ones with the teeth, okay? And it looks, looks like this. Now if you notice, these belts are different sizes. Golly. Move it over. All right? These belts here are different sizes. Now this is for the Pet Pro Plus, okay? The Pet Pro and the Pet Pro Plus. And this is for the Bissell Revolution, okay? See the size difference, all right? So you can mistakenly order the wrong belt, and that's the reason for this video, okay, in the first place, all right? Now the second thing is the way they look. When you look up a schematics, and now you want to use, let's say, you want to use this section here. Like I said, I was going to use it in a shared screen. All right. Hey man, how's it that my day is going great. My day is going fantastic. Okay. This is a Bissell Revolution Pet. Okay. Now when you look at the schematics, right, it says here Pet Pro. You see, it says Pet Pro, right? But really, the picturing is for the regular Bissell Revolution. But it's just for the sake of, for the pictures, I guess they have it like this. But if you look at this number here, right? Look at the way the brushes are set up. You see that big tall brush, that big belt right there? That big belt, based on the way, when you open up your Bissell and you look at it, you're assuming the big belt is the flat pump belt, right? Because when you do it like this, okay. Oh my God, I took it off. Hold on. When you do it like this, let me show you. When you do it like this, right? And it's going over. You see the large belt is really the pump belt. you know, when you look at it, and the smaller belt is the cog belt. But in the drawing, okay, number 4, all right, golly. Number 4 in the drawing, if you notice the numbering, number 4 says cog belt. Says pump belt cog. You see that? Okay? And then number 4 here, it looks like the flat pump belt. That can be confusing to a lot of people. So they'll look at it and say, that must be what I need right there. Okay? And then number 5, it tells you number 5 is the flat belt. Okay? Number 5 is the flat pump belt, right? But when you look at number 5, it looks like the tiny belt that would go over your wheel. So number 5 here looks like the cog, and I'm assuming they probably drew it to show that this is in front. You know, this is in front of the picture or something. It's probably like a, you know, they try to draw it with perspective, I guess. But it can be confusing because you put it right next to the. It put it right next to the gear. The gear is right here. You see that? And the wheel for the shaft is on this side, and that wheel is where the big pump belt would go. So anyone would reasonably assume that number 5 means the geared belt and number 4 means the flat belt. Okay, and so I know there's a lot of folks who've been probably ordering the wrong belts and having to return them back and forth. So that's what this is for, to kind of shine some light. So I'm gonna actually have something on the website explain the difference, so when people are ordering, they're not gonna be confused by the picture, because again, like I said, you know, the pictures. This belt does look like that's the pump belt, and this do look like that's the smaller belt. Okay, which is this. All right. We got that out the way. It's a little confusing. Now, to answer this person's question here is, yes, I think you can, all right, replace it. Sometimes you can just take this piece off. Most likely this is what's leaking, this little piece right here, because when we try to clean it out, sometimes we'll dig in too hard inside there, and we'll break the seal. Okay, inside, and then it'll start to bubble over, and that's where it'll start leaking. But you want to make sure that that's where your leak is coming from. So you're gonna have to open it up. You're gonna have to open it up and see where your leak is. Now I have a lot of videos on the site about how to open this. Okay, all right, yeah, right. How to open this, so you can you're gonna have to go through the playlist. Is called Bissell Tips playlist. Now the other thing with the clean shot was the gentleman I was just answering on my on the site. If your clean shot is not spraying, right? Okay. This is what you would do. This is what you would do. Now, I'll explain to you. The moment you put your tank on your clean water tank, right, to have all your solution and stuff like that, the moment you put it on, the water is going to start flowing down to the clean shot, and it's going to start flowing down to this section where the pump is, okay? And now, when your machine is running, that pump is turning, okay? The pump is turning, okay? Now, if this section is not working, if your hose isn't working, chances are, right, you need to change your belt, because the belt powers the shaft that powers the pump, okay? The belt doesn't control the spraying that goes to the floor, okay? That's a whole different setup, okay? If you notice, let me see if I can turn it here so you can see it, all right? Now, I have a few videos on this, but while I'm answering these questions, I might as well just kind of run it, okay? So if you look at the, if you look at the hose setup here, you see how you have like 3 hoses coming down. See that? There's one underneath, there's a big main hose here, and you got this other hose right here, okay? All right? Okay? So the hose that's running all the way to the pump, okay, see that right there? That water is going down here and it's waiting for you to insert something inside of here, which is the hose, and it's waiting for you to squeeze the trigger for that water to come out. But this water is always here waiting. It's waiting right here. This water that goes to the floor, okay, that's waiting up top, okay? That's waiting up top, waiting for you to squeeze the trigger so the water can come out on the floor. All right? So the water is automatically sitting here, waiting for you to squeeze the trigger for the water to come out. Okay? Wow. You know what? I want to show you something. I want to show you something. Take a look at this. This might be an example of what I'm talking about, and I don't know how this happened. And this may just be just a mark. It might just be a mark. It might just be something dried up. You see inside there, you see that little white mark inside there? Now I'm going to inspect that to make sure that's not, look in the tab next to the screw, okay, right there. I'm going to make sure that's not a rip, but that's an example of what will happen inside that little tab here if you clean it, or you use a screwdriver, or you use a, I don't know, something, and you're trying to clean like debris out of there. You might poke, and that's where the leaking is happening. So really, it's just you poke the seal, and instead of the water waiting and being patient, it's kind of bubbling out. It's like, you know, it's bubbling out. Okay, so just remember that the moment the water tank, this clean water tank, the moment you sit it down, some water is running down on the opposite side, is just running down, waiting at the pump. The pump, the moment you turn that machine on, now that pump is starting to do this to the water. It's just a little fan inside, like zinging the water, right? Waiting, and it's not gonna go anywhere until you put the hose in, and then it just runs up the hose, and now it's waiting here at the hose, waiting for you to do this. And when you press this trigger, the water just zings out and is going into the upholstery. You see that? So it's a lot of waiting stations. Okay, all right. So that's how that works. Okay. So there's no pump for the main unit. The main carpet cleaner doesn't have a pump. Okay. Now what it does have is a control valve that can stop your spraying if you don't know this is what you did. Let me show you, okay? Make sure, all right? Hey, that's right. Appreciate it, man. What it does have, guys, is this unit right here, okay? Now, if you have this accidentally, you have it all the way down to the bottom here, okay? You probably restricted some of your spray. Okay? I'll be honest, there's a lot of things that we put on machines to give them more of a selling feature that is absolutely not necessary, okay? It's not necessary. I don't think we're too lazy to release the trigger, right? We might be too lazy to check the dirty water tank, so you need a floater, you know? You need a floater. So we might be too lazy to check the dirty water tank. We'll just keep, when I say lazy, I mean, I don't want to stop and then go and do this extra thing of dumping we're already working hard and shampooing the carpet. So you're not really lazy, if you get what I'm saying. I'm just using a figure of speech. But to stop, and it's like inconvenience. How's that? It's to stop and go and dump it and come back, and you only had a little bit of water. If you notice the dump line, the full line, when it says full, is near the bottom. All right, and you have this entire tank. So our perception is I have this whole tank to fill up, when really you only have up to this fill line right here at the bottom. Okay, that's when it's full. And that's when that floater is gonna go up like this. It's gonna keep going up, and it's gonna cut off your suction. If you notice, the floater don't have far to go. Look at that. It stops right there. See that? Boom. And then you gotta stop shampooing. So I get the frustration with that, and why a lot of people get water in their tanks, in their motor, because they over, and then every time you push forward, and if you shampoo hard, you push forward and back, the water splashes forward and splashes back, and then it goes in your motor a little bit at a time, and all of a sudden the rust builds up, and when you turn it on one day, it sounds like a truck, you know? All right, so that's that. All right. Yeah, I mean, there is. I'll be honest with you, and I might pronounce the name right. Kuro, Kuro, is that right? I want to make sure I'm on point. You know, I want to say names right. I want to do the best I can. All right. Yeah, Kuro. All right, Kuro. All right. Yeah, man. That's exactly what it is. Sometimes, man. So this thing here, you know, we could just not squeeze the trigger all the time, right? You don't need low, medium, and high stuff. Okay. Yeah, you know, but it's there, and because it's there, if you leave it on the max, that's just letting the water flow out the way you would like it to flow out, okay? If there is somebody that says, man, I want to shampoo my carpet, but I only want to use like a little bit of water, I don't know, man. You can get a spray bottle and spray you can spray the area and then not spray. Don't squeeze the trigger and just let the brush, you know, and the suction clean that area for you if that's what you want, you know, yeah. But anyway, I think this causes more confusion than it benefits. You know, it's a selling feature. I don't know. Anyway, so leave it on max. If you leave it on max and you don't put boiling water in your tank, then you should be fine. If you put boiling water in this tank, just expect that eventually your tank will stop doing its job. It's going to start melting and warping, and then it won't sit properly, and nothing is coming out of this thing. And you might want to replace the pump. You're trying everything, and you're not figuring out what's going on. And really, all it is, the tank is just off center, just a little bit, just enough for it not to spray. Okay, all right. So that's that. Right. Okay. So as for the leak, all right, I just don't want to miss anything. As for the leak, I'm believing that's that little tab, and you can just, if the other one is not broken, then you can. Did I share it with her? If the other one is not broken, then you can use it off the other one, and you just have to do this. You just have to just take off your little clamp and take off the old one and replace it on the other one, and that should fix that problem. All right. Now, the other thing is you want to make sure where the leak is coming from is that the Bissell Revolution Pet Pro have something called a stack. It's a white cylinder that sits on if you're facing it from this angle, it's on the left side where the water is coming down, right? Now, the water now automatically comes to the stack and sits there, okay? The same thing it does at the pump, all right? So the gentleman that was asking me about the clean shot, all right? Your clean shot is either stuck, that you just have to open it, and it just pops in. They're like little clamps. When you take it out, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's nothing. What's under the clean shot buttons are more important than the clean shot button itself. The way it's set up under there's a couple of things under there that if I'm not mistaken, I think I don't want to say there's a micro switch down there. I don't think so. No, it's not. It's just the way it's just a bunch of angles, man. The way the water gets to the clean shot, it's like a whole lot of like weighting. Okay, and because when you press down, there's like, I think there's spring loading down there. When you press down the clean shot, that water zings out. So the water is also waiting at the clean shot, waiting for that to go. Okay, so even if the other stuff is not working, the clean shot can still work. Okay, even if let's say your spray is like, you're thinking the clean shot is powered by the pump. The clean shot is powered by the gravity, right? The stack, a little bit of suction, because there's no pumping system at the clean shot. All right, there's no pumping system for the main floor. The only pumping system is for the hose. Okay, And the way they set it up is pretty clever, because if your brushes are not turning when they're supposed to turn, most likely the hose is not going to spray, because you need that tension to turn the shaft, and that shaft will turn the main brush. Now, it is possible for the brush to have enough tension, what would you call it? I'm sorry, the pump belt, the flat pump belt, to have enough tension to turn the brushes, but just not enough power to power the pump to push the water out. So you may still have to change that belt. If the belt is stretched, it needs tension. It needs that tension to zing that thing up like this and zing it out. That's kind of what it's doing. It's just like, you know, someone hand you this and you hand it, and that's really what it's doing, man. It's just doing this. You know, there's no electricity involved like the Bissell Pro Heat 2X, the old school one. There's no electricity involved. Nothing is turning that pump except for the belt. I actually like this method because that pump, we've had to replace a lot of those pumps, man, on that Bissell 2X, the one that have the heater coil and all that stuff, and solenoids, and they were all hooked up to the wirings and of the system. They all needed electricity to move, and these guys, the electricity is only needed to start that motor. Okay, so it's a simpler, it could be confusing, I understand, but trust me, it's a simpler process than if you had the Bissell Revolution 2X, old school one. All right, let me see if I have any other questions to answer. And if anyone have a question, you can also just put it in the link. All right, let me see if I can. I have to share the link with this person, so I wanna do my part, because I'll end up forgetting. I try to sneak this live in between hours, and so I'm always, if you always see me doing this, I'm just always looking out to make sure that I'm not doing live when someone is coming in. All right, let me see here. Let me share this link. Come on, share the link. Share the link. Share the link. Come on, man. Get shareable link. Here we go. Here we go. Copy to the clipboard. All right, fantastic. And let me paste it. All right, and let me send it off, and I can reply to this person, and they can look at this video, and hopefully it helps. All right, so now another person said they're junk, they should be recalled. Something this new should not have issues this quick. I've used mine 10 times, and maybe, and all the clean water will drain out sometimes. Okay, if all the clean water drains out, what can cause that? Okay. Well, there are two things that can cause that. All right, maybe not, maybe more than two, but two that I can think of. If you put this on the unit, right, and all the clean water just drain right out. Let me open up. I want to make sure I can see the chats, because I can't see the chat on this. I can't see it on this tiny phone right here. I can't see nothing. Zing it out. That's right, man. That's right, Kuro. All right. All right, man. What parts are you at, Kuro? What parts of the world? Okay. Let me try to explain this out. All right. So, okay. So this is what can happen. One of the problems, I'm gonna give you the worst case scenario before I do anything else. The worst case scenario is that the reservoir on this thing is busted. Worst case scenario. That's the problem. That means the reservoir is this little thing right here, right, where the water sits, and the seal is cracked, and that's busted. That's the worst case scenario. But now you will know if that's the case if you get water maybe dripping down. If you get water dripping here, you see right underneath there, see that crack? If water is going to be dripping, if that reservoir is busted, the water is going to come through that crack. Okay, So if you don't see the water coming through that crack, then just assume, all right, maybe my reservoir is okay. See that? All right. What's the next thing? The next thing, it passes through this section right here, and all this is just a lever to tighten and release kind of how much water comes out. Okay, so leave it all the way up. The next step, if it's a Revolution Pet Pro, your stack might be leaking. Because remember, the water stays at the stack and is sitting there. The other thing is the water stays at the pump and it's sitting there, okay? And so the part of the pump that may leak would be the part we were just talking about, is that little spot with the screw, with the little thing sticking out there, right? Let me point to it, just to be safe, just to make sure I'm understood. Oh, 100%. This little section right here could be leaking, and it's possible, but less likely that it's the actual pump itself leaking. Okay, less likely, but it can happen. You could have a split in your cords. I mean, your hosing tubing. That's possible. These can be dislodged a little bit. Okay, that's also possible. So I'm just giving you options, man. That can explain why the water just leak out. But without me seeing where the puddle is, I can't point you in the direction. So my advice is see where the leak is coming from. Like, don't spray nothing. Just put the water on it and see what happens. See what if all of a sudden you see a puddle on this side, assume that your stack is leaking. Okay, if it's a Bissell Revolution Pet Pro. Okay, and I'm trying to keep it straight, man. I'm trying not to deviate off into a million spots when it comes to my thoughts, man, because things be popping in my head. I'm like, hey, you heard about this? Okay. And look, check my website, guys, because what I'm going to end up doing is I am going to end up explaining which part specifically goes to which machine, and maybe there's a part number that they used to use, because what Bissell would do, like I said, they'll change the part numbers. The belts fit the same, so you could have found your belt, but because the part number is not what what's on the schematic. Let's say they said this part is no longer available, and you're like, damn, the part's no longer available, and you don't know, right? And you don't know that they actually have that part, the same part, on a different machine, but it's under a different number. And so you didn't have to throw it away. You didn't have to give it to Goodwill or something. You know what I mean? All right. And then the last thing is the belt sizes. They can confuse some folks. All right. And I totally get why. Right. The older unit, the larger belt was back here, kind of keeping the units together, right? These belts ride together. Let me just do it so you can see it. If I turn one, because of that belt, the second one's gonna turn. So I'm only turning this one here. I'm only turning this one, but both turns because the belts are keeping them together. So in the other units, this was the largest belt. But now, these belts are the larger belt. So we used to buy them saying small cog belt and I need a large cog belt. So you just buy one large, one small. That took care of the problem. Not anymore. Because both of these are Bissell Revolution belts that goes to the cog and this. And both of these are different sizes. And it's also a different size from the very first orange Bissell Revolution. Okay, so I'm going to try to make sure I clarify those, so that will cut down on the people that are ordering the wrong belts. All right, and I think that's it. But if you're gonna do a complete revamp of this, you know what you're looking for is a pump, a shaft, a flat belt, I'll say the motor side cog belt. Let's use those terms, right? Motor side cog belt. That's the cog belt that is on this side where the motor shaft is. This is your pump, and then this is the gear or the cog belt right here. So the motor side cog belt, you need the opposite side cog belt, okay? And maybe a shaft if you want to revamp your entire system. So the kit that I'm going to put together is going to have, I'm going to have 3 different kits. One is going to be for the Pet Pro Plus. One is going to be for the Revolution Pet, which is the second iteration of the Revolution. And one's going to be for the old Revolution, the orange version. All right. And for anyone who just want to kind of revamp the whole deal. I hope that covers it. Now, if there are any other questions about these, one more thing. Look, so the Bissell Revolution, this is the hose system. The hose for the Bissell Revolution is no longer available because the number is different. All right, but the hose will fit. The Revolution Plus, the Revolution Pet, and the Revolution all use the same hose. I had to get it all out because it's a lot to say. All right, so they all use the same hose. But so if you're looking to replace your Revolution orange version, right, you're not going to find a hose because it's under a new number. Okay, so you would have to look for the Bissell Revolution Pet Pro and the Pet Pro Plus to find the hose for your Bissell Revolution Part 1. Yes, sir. I got all the words out. I got them all out, man. The pump belts are all the same for the three versions of the Revolution. The pump belts are all the same. Okay, so the flat pump belt. If you need to get that, you can get this one, and it'll fit all 3 of them. Okay. All right, so you can find these on our site also, and this is this one says, you see, this is the wrong. I see that's the thing that I'm a little irritated. The reason why I'm irritated, because the wording makes it look like you got the wrong one. Let me show you what I mean. The wording. You would have to take this whole thing out, because if you go based off the wording here, you would think that I'm supposed to be getting the flat pump belt. But it's probably just listing all the belts that's on the system, and then when you turn it around, it's this belt here. So I get why some folks will get confused by these things. It's just the way it's set up. It's nothing against you. All right, nothing against you. But that's about it. I think that's about it. Let me see. Staying there for a bit more. Traveler. Nashville. Oh, word. Oh, that's cool, man. You're hanging with us. That's close enough. In other words, the weather I'm having is the weather you're having. That's kind of what it's like, except maybe it's not raining by you. It's raining by me right now. But Nashville. Man, I always wanted to visit Nashville. Hey, there's a couple of cool things down in Nashville. I think you guys got a pretty cool deal down there. You know, it sounds like a good place to do business. It sounds like a good place to do business, Nashville. Yeah. You know. All right. So I think that's it, guys. I'm trying to see if I was thinking of one more thing that I can share on this particular topic, or if there was something else I had in mind. Nope, that's it. I think that's all I wanted to cover. Changing belts. We have other videos on how to remove this internal hose, which can be a pain in the butt. All right, so there's a video on our site how to remove this. So if you're just passing through and you just notice this, just kind of make sure you mention that. I'm still trying to figure out the main purpose of this little thing right here. You know, I keep saying to myself, all right, there's a good reason that this is on here, right? And I just don't know. And someone's gonna tell me, and it's like, man, yo, dude, you stupid, you know, you don't know the whole machine. Because my instincts tell me that this is, if you recline it, right, it's gonna move. It kind of moves. Let me show you. Let me show you. And tell me if I'm crazy, right? I know I'm not, because I think I'm just missing it, and I just don't understand it the way I thought I did or something. But tell me if this is right, and then I'm a sign off because I gotta get rocking and rolling. All right, so tell me if this is right. All right, now let me turn it around the other way. Okay. And someone's gonna educate me on this, because there's a lot of guys who know more than me, and they're quick to let me know in the comment, hey Wayne, you got that wrong. So you see that white shaft right there? Okay, so when I recline, right? Let me recline, right? I'm thinking it's supposed to do something, right? Something specific. Right? Now you see where the other side is. Here, right? Wait, it's going up. Let me see something. It's going up to the shaft. No, this thing can't move the shaft. It can't move the shaft, right? So I would think that this was supposed to stop the belt from turning the brush. That's what it looks like it's supposed to do. Like the moment you recline it, it looks like what it's supposed to do is maybe lift the brush off the cog or something, so the brushes won't turn when it's in an upright position, right? That's what my brain is saying it's supposed to be doing. But I never see it do anything like that. So I'm always wondering, so what the hell is this thing for then? What is it for? Because it's not strong enough. It can't. This is. I'm telling you, I'm truly baffled. Look, you see, those things are nailed down. They're screwed in, right? So you're not going to move the shaft, right? And you can't have it touching the shaft while the shaft is spinning, because it'll melt. The shaft is metal. That thing is plastic. The white shaft right there, the white rod is plastic, right? Right. So it's not going to affect the shaft. There's no way it's going to affect the shaft, but it should be able to lift the belt if that's the case. But the belt from here to the first brush is pretty tight. Okay, it's pretty tight. I don't see that belt just lifting up like that. So if anyone figure this out, if you have you can do it. Let me know, because I am truly here stuck a little bit, wondering why these things are even here in the first place. Because, okay, all right, I gave you homework. All right, guys, look, thanks for swinging by. If someone was able to benefit from this video, thanks. Look, if you guys want to find a way to support the channel, look in the description. There's a couple of ways you can support. That's great. Or for the people who just order parts from us online, we thank you for the business. I ship stuff out every day. So that's awesome. Okay, so I know there's a lot of sites you can go to. People have Amazon, you get it by tomorrow. but not all the parts are original parts. A lot of times you're gonna get these little aftermarket stuff on Amazon. So just kind of be mindful of that. I'm not telling you not to go there, because I have to go there sometimes to get certain batteries that are not being sold anymore. But I buy them knowing that I'm gambling on this battery, okay? And I have to let my customer know that I can't find the original battery. I can get one for you, but I can't guarantee that it's gonna last you 2 years. It might only last 6 months or a year. If they're willing to gamble with me, we order it, because I don't want to waste my money. I order it, put it in, and then we're good to go. So just keep that in mind when it comes to Amazon. All right, guys, until next time. Okay. Hey, all right, Kuro, man. I appreciate you hanging out, bro. Thanks for that support. That's great support. Thank you very much. And I'll be back. Like I said, for those who need a better breakdown of this, I'm going to have a better breakdown of what I mean by these. Look at that. I tried to print out the parts, and my shipping label was inside of the printer. So I just wasted a good piece of shipping paper. Let me see here. Yeah, okay, here's a good example. What's good about this one is it actually told you, it told you here in this schematic, right, that hose number at the top, that is for those models that were made in 2007. And right after that, there's a new hose for that. You see that? So that's good for somebody to look for that. So like I said, if you're looking for your hose in the schematic, some people may not know that the hose is the same because you're thinking different model, different number, it may not fit. So there's a lot of folks who get stuck and they don't know what to do. I'm trying to become a reference for folks that when you get stuck, I can kind of lead you down that road and help you figure out some of this stuff. So I'm constantly going to be updating my website. Just keep checking back in. All right, Kuro, man. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. All right. And hopefully I could do a giveaway. And if you're live that day, you can get it, man. All right. Because I always love to reward anyone that supports us. Thanks a lot. You guys have a good day. All right. Gotta get rocking.